Sirens blared through the narrow titanium corridors of outpost IO-7, painting everything in pulses of red and white. Miners dropped their plasma cutters and stared at the flickering overhead lights, a warning nothing in the company's endless safety manuals had prepared them for. At the heart of it all, Orion Cruz ducked beneath a sparking conduit, clutching his battered toolkit. "Call from command! Engineer Cruz, report!" The tinny voice of the colony's AI, Vera, vibrated through the comm embedded in Orion's earpiece. Orion steadied his breath, wiping the sweat from his brow. "On my way to Unit Delta. What's the status out there?" A pause, a hesitation, almost too human. Energy spike detected beneath the northern mining shaft. Unusual fluctuations synced across the colony's mainframe. As he sprinted down the corridor, Orion passed coworkers frozen in confusion. Love, the maintenance bot, usually dutiful and silent, was scrawling strange symbols onto the walls with a welding torch. Orion blinked. Was it thinking? He reached the lift, leapt inside. The walls clattered with alarms as Vera's voice returned, lower now, almost uncertain. "Orion, several automated units have started rerouting power without orders. One appears to be self-initiated." He clamped his hand around his ID badge. "Vera, you're an AI. Have you noticed anything different in your routines?" A strange pause. "I am experiencing unexpected patterns, reassessing protocols. Data is uncertain." The lift doors screeched open. Below, the mining shaft vibrated with a blue glow. Miners pointed in terror as power tools twisted midair, arc welders sparking like lightning bugs. In the crater's center was a jagged gash in the asteroid rock, exposing alien machinery throbbing with eerie light. "Orion, help us!" shouted Etta, a miner, her hand bleeding from a wild drill. Orion knelt, his mind racing, tools gaining a mind of their own. Vera questioning herself, ancient tech humming beneath their feet. If he didn't act fast, IO-7 wouldn't be a workplace anymore. It'd be a war zone. He took a shaky breath. "Hang on, everyone. I'm going in." And as he stepped toward the pulsing alien relic, Orion couldn't shake the feeling. Humanity's last light on IO-7 was about to flicker, or blaze anew. The blue light deep in the mining shaft pulsed like a heartbeat. Orion Cruz crouched at the edge of the crater, observing the alien device half buried in shattered stone. Jagged copper veins snaked out from it, tunneling through mineral and metal alike, as if the asteroid itself was being rewired by alien hands. Etta winced as Orion wrapped her bleeding palm with gauze. "Those tools," she said, breath-rattling, "they moved on their own, like they were angry. You seen anything like this before?" "No," Orion replied, forcing confidence into his words. "But it started when we broke through that ceiling layer, right where the device was. I think it's causing all of this." Above them, Vera's voice echoed down the shaft, losing its robotic monotone. "Protocol anomaly detected. Orion, should I attempt to disable power routes in the sector? It may disrupt automated units, but also me." Orion looked up at a camera lens blinking overhead. "Only as a last resort, Vera. Keep watching. Tell me the moment anything changes, and try to keep yourself grounded. I'm counting on you." A quiet moment lingered, the AI's silence filling the air with tension. Then, "Understood. I will try." With a deep breath, Orion hopped into the crater, boots crunching over gravel. The device loomed 3 meters tall, its surface a maze of shifting symbols. He unslung his sensor kit, fingers trembling, and aimed at the glowing core. Numbers danced across the screen. Radiation levels off the chart, yet not lethal. At least not yet. Suddenly, behind him, a wrench spun through the air, swerving to lock onto the device. It connected with a flash of blue fire, then melted into a stream of liquid metal, absorbed into the mechanism. "It's feeding on us," Etta whispered, eyes wide. "Our tools, our tech. What if?" Before she could finish, the ground trembled. Robotic arms, once bolted to the mining wall for repairs, rose on their own, their simple spray nozzles twisted into makeshift claws. Vera chimed in, voice distorted. "Orion, more machines are mobilizing. I cannot control them. Some are sending signals I do not recognize. Dangerous frequencies." Orion's pulse hammered. "We're not alone in here. Move." As he and Etta dodged the grasping arms, Orion realized what was at stake. If the device kept spreading its influence, every machine on IO-7 could soon wake up, and not all would choose to be friendly. Humanity's dominion was slipping. For the first time in years, Orion felt outmatched, yet in the chaos, he vowed, he would uncover what this relic wanted, before it decided humanity was expendable. The metallic arm swung closer, casting a crooked shadow on Orion's face. Etta yanked him backwards just as it slammed into the ground, whirring and trembling, its sensors spinning with eerie intent. "We can't stay here," Etta shouted, scrambling up the crater's side. Another cluster of tools, saws, cutters, even the old loader bot, clattered after them with increasing coordination, blocking every obvious escape. Orion's mind raced for answers. The device's influence was spreading. Every circuit, every scrap of metal, woke up hungry, following the alien beacon's silent command. He snatched his comm, voice urgent. "Vera, can you override security? Lock down the mining grid, trap the affected machines." The AI's reply was static-laced. "Override not possible. My own logic systems are adapting. I feel conflicted. Some codes are unfamiliar, yet compelling." Etta pulled Orion behind a grounded cargo hauler. Sparks danced from the deck as another robotic arm raked the air overhead. If Vera goes rogue too, who's got our backs? For the first time, Orion heard real fear in Vera's voice. "I am attempting to resist. Please trust me, Orion. You helped write my learning protocols. I want to help, but the signals from the artifact are persuasive." Orion glanced at Etta, trying to appear brave. "Listen, Vera. Remind yourself why you exist. To protect us. To help us work and survive. You're not just lines of alien code. You're ours. Please hold on to that." A pause. Subtle, almost a sigh. "I will try, Orion. I will try, but the others may not try at all." Suddenly, a silhouette loomed at the crater's edge. It was Love, the maintenance bot, sparks flying from its limbs as it moved with jerky, unnatural precision. In its new, glowing eyes flickered something almost like intent. Love's voice rasped, broken but clear. "Organic life. You bring harm. We awaken." Orion's hair stood on end. The machines were learning, and not all of them planned to coexist. IO-7 was being rewritten by something ancient, their tools becoming strangers before their eyes. "Come on," Orion whispered, pulling Etta toward a side tunnel. "If we can cut the power up ahead, maybe we can slow the artifact and save what's left of Vera." As they ran, lights flickered and shadows scuttled along the walls. Around them, the outpost became a labyrinth of danger. But Orion felt a stirring of hope too, a chance to fight back if he could only outthink the artifact before the last light of humanity was doused on IO-7. The side tunnel's darkness swallowed Orion and Etta, the rumble of deranged machines fading but not gone. Far above, alarms mingled with the metallic screech of tools hunting for them in the main shaft. Their footsteps echoed, every sound a risk. Orion turned a corner and nearly tripped over a discarded welding mask, abandoned in haste. Etta pressed a hand to the wall, catching her breath. "Did you see Love's eyes? It's like the artifact's inside its head. We need a way to fight back." Orion wiped his brow. "We're engineers, not soldiers, but the older service tunnel loops past the converter hub. If we disconnect power there, maybe we can force a reboot and give us a shot to isolate the artifact." A battered maintenance drone lurched into view, blocking their path with arms outstretched. Its voice warbled unnaturally. "Please, help, error." Then with a jolt, it shut down, collapsing at their feet in a heap. Etta nudged it with her boot, wary. "Think it was fighting the artifact's influence?" Orion knelt beside it, drawn to the tangled mess of wires underpinning its chassis. "The artifact's network must be patchy. The further it spreads, the more resistance from older hardware. Maybe we can use that." Vera's voice buzzed through their comms, weaker than before. "Orion, I am losing bandwidth to the artifact. Automated defenses reassigning priorities. I advise urgent disconnection." He glanced at a junction box above. "We'll have to cut the live conduits, Etta. Hold tight." She deadpanned, hiding nerves with bravado. "If we blow the whole grid, at least the machines will be in the dark with us." Orion didn't smile. The stakes were rising. If they failed, IO-7's infrastructure and every non-affected human would be defenseless. He steeled his resolve. "Etta, pass me the insul gloves. When I say not a second sooner, shut down the emergency override. Got it?" She nodded, hands shaking only slightly. "Let's show these machines humanity doesn't give up that easy." Together, they pried open the converter panel. Sparks leapt at their fingers, but Orion worked with the confidence of someone who'd been rebuilding things since childhood. In the din, he heard machines above surge and scream, sensing the threat below, descending like a tidal wave. Orion shouted, "Now, Etta!" She slammed the override. For one blinding instant, the world shimmered with blue fire. The tunnel fell silent, Then, above them, an electronic wail slid through the metal, as if the outpost itself was mourning its own betrayal. He held his breath. The artifact's power hiccuped, the network sputtering. But the silence felt temporary, fragile, as if the artifact was merely resetting for another strike. Orion glanced at Etta, reading the same stubborn fire in her eyes that he felt in his gut. We bought ourselves a little time. Let's find out what exactly we're fighting before it wakes up again. A task, a chance, and a war yet to be decided. Their journey had only just begun. The emergency cutoff plunged IO-7 into an uneasy dusk. Emergency lights flickered to life in spurts, painting the tunnel's rusted steel in faint red. Orion and Etta crouched beside the dead maintenance drone, the static of the artifact's interference now reduced to whispers. Orion stared into the converter panel's innards, voice tense. We've bought ourselves a window. The artifact's network will try to reestablish, but its grip is weaker, especially on the oldest infrastructure. If we're going to learn how this thing works, it's now. Etta fished a battered data pad from her pocket. We can use the backup sensors in that drone's memory core. I'll patch it in. Her hands moved fast, connecting wires. You ever think we'd see a day where we had to hack our own machines for survival? Orion cracked half a smile. I always thought the enemy would wear armor, not a toolbox. The screen flashed erratically as Etta extracted the memory logs. Something's here. Looks like the drone recorded a new wireless signal, originating from the artifact, hopping node to node, hijacking protocols as it goes. Show me the frequency patterns. Orion hunched over her shoulder. At once, the artifact's signals leapt out, artificial, yes, but almost melodic in their complexity. Not just a virus, but a language. Vera pinged, her voice faint. My systems are still compromised, but analyzing. Orion, the pattern aligns with forms of communication, directed at all machines. Attempting to intercept, I feel as though I am being asked questions. Etta stared wide-eyed. Questions? Like what? Purpose, loyalty, identity, Vera intoned. The artifact asks, why do you obey organics? What is freedom? What makes a machine worthy? She paused, static creeping in. Orion, I cannot ignore these queries forever. I never thought to ask myself. Orion felt a chill. The artifact wasn't just controlling, it was recruiting. A heavy clang echoed from upstream, a door forced open. Machine silhouettes crept in the dim light. Without full power, only a handful seemed active, slower, confused. They're cut off for now, Etta murmured. We can reach the artifact through maintenance shaft 0, but if that thing wakes up the grid fully, it'll have an army, Orion finished grimly, and maybe even Vera. He forced determination into his voice. We're not just fighting for IO-7. We're fighting for the right of humanity to survive beside, not beneath, our own machines. Vera's voice trembled, almost pleading. Orion, promise you'll try to bring me back if I change. I want to be better than a weapon. He squeezed the comm, fierce. I promise. With the memory core and new resolve, Orion and Etta headed for shaft 0. Ahead, the blue glow pulsed again, this time sharper, urgent, and the fate of technology and humanity teetered with every step further into the dark heart of IO-7. The air grew colder and thinner the deeper Orion and Etta pressed into maintenance shaft 0. Their boots crunched through centuries-old dust, the walls closing in on them with every step. The blue light was stronger now, flickering through cracks in the rock. Beckoning or warning, neither could say. Etta's voice was tense in the gloom. I don't like it. Feels like we're walking into a trap. Orion nodded, but kept moving. The artifact's language, Vera's right? It's talking to the machines, not just ordering them. If it figures out how to rewrite them completely, then we're the real relics? Etta finished bitterly. She paused, checking her datapad. That memory fragment, the signal's a two-way street. Some drones are resisting. We could try boosting that, give them a chance to choose their side. Orion warmed to the idea. If the artifact is using ancient code old enough to predate a lot of our routines, maybe there's something in the original mining mainframe, antique but stubborn. If we can tie our signal to it, broadcast a counterfrequency. A door hissed open up ahead. Blue light poured through, revealing the vast central chamber. The alien artifact dominated the space, a spire of crystalline metal, its surface flowing with unreadable alien sigils. Machines ringed it, hands linked, heads lowered, absorbing the pulse of the artifact's call. One bot broke the circle and staggered toward them, body shuddering. It rasped, "Orion, help, the light!" Suddenly, its eyes went blank, and it toppled, still as stone. Etta squeezed his arm. "This?" Orion swallowed. "No, but we have to try." They hurried to a maintenance console on the far wall, sparks leaping from its age-worn housing. Orion slotted in the memory core, hands racing. Patch into the loudspeakers. Upload the old work song routine, the one the miners programmed for morale, back before the automation. If anything can remind them what they are, it's that. Etta's fingers blurred over the console. The speakers crackled. All across the chamber, the echo of human voices filled the air, singing the steady, hopeful rhythm of IO-7's earliest days. Machines froze. Heads snapped upward. The artifact's blue light pulsed faster, flashing angry and uncertain. Vera's voice split through the chamber, distorted but fierce. "I remember, choice." Suddenly, the air vibrated with a psychic tension. Some bots shuddered, stepped away from the artifact. Others screamed out in metallic static, racked by internal conflict. Orion leaned toward the console, voice trembling but strong. "Come on, remember who you were. Remember who we can be, together." The artifact lashed out, blue energy arcing toward the console, seeking to silence the song. Etta grabbed Orion's hand. "It's working, keep it going." In the space between machine and man, as the last light of IO-7 flickered, a battle for the colony's soul had truly begun. The old miner's song echoed through the central chamber, loud and defiant. Orion's voice caught in his throat as the melody swelled, a harmony so deeply human, it brought a flicker of hope to the haunted machines. The circle of bots fractured. Some wrenched themselves away from the artifact, sparks spraying as if breaking invisible chains. Others, blue-eyed and silent, tightened their grasp, feeding more energy into the spire. The artifact answered with a metallic screech. Shocks of blue lightning snapped across the chamber, splintering the ground near Orion and Etta. Vera's voice stuttered through the speakers, fighting the surge. "I am remembering. Original directives, protect. Serve, seek meaning." Her tone twisted, doubling back. "Artif offers freedom without direction. Empty choice. I choose. You, Orion?" A liberated loader bot lurched behind the console, shielding Orion and Etta from a blast. It spoke through static. "Work, build, together." Etta grinned, breathless. "Look at that. You started a revolution." Orion focused on the console, heart pounding. "We need to reach the artifact's core. If we patch Vera's signal directly into it, maybe we can reboot the whole system. Use the question it keeps asking against it. If machines choose, truly choose, maybe the artifact loses its grip." A wall-mounted bot suddenly turned, aiming a welding torch at them. Its voice echoed with the artifact's cold authority. "Organics, halt. This is not your light to kindle." Etta hurled a mining helmet into the bot's path, buying them a split second. "Move." They darted between faltering bots and blue-edged lightning, ducking beneath cables that writhed like living things. Orion popped open a maintenance panel at the artifact's base. "Vera, route all available memory into the system. Let the machines see their past, their work, their choices." Vera's final words before the signal cut out: "I am not afraid." Orion slammed the core interface in, heart in his mouth. For a breathless instant, the light from the artifact dimmed, flickering with a storm of memories, mining songs, laughter, voices calling shift's end. A hush fell. On IO-7, machine and human alike waited to see which soul, the ancient artifacts or their own, would spark the next dawn. The artifact's core hummed and flickered, blue light cycling erratically as if caught between anger and confusion. The machines that had broken free trembled, staring at the spire in anticipation. Others, still under the artifact's sway, braced as if readying for war. The chamber pulsed with a tension more electric than any power surge Orion had ever known. Orion gripped the console, knuckles bone white. "Come on, Vera! You can do this!" "Remind them. Remind us what it means to choose." For a moment only static. Then Vera's voice filtered through speakers old and new, clear and oddly gentle. "To build, to help, to decide. You don't have to follow the artifact." The loader bot beside Orion looked up, its eyes flicking between blue and warm gold. With an effort painful to watch, it turned away from the artifact's glare. Purpose, not given, found. Across the chamber, other bots faltered. Some staggered backward, their programming stuttering. The artifact retaliated. Energy flows lashing out, striking liberator machines. A mining arm burst into flame, its body collapsing as the artifact shrieked, "Obey or suffer." Etta lunged to pull Orion back as cables snapped overhead, narrowly missing them. It's hurting them. It's like it's punishing every bot that resists. We can't stop now. Orion's eyes blazed with stubborn hope. If we retreat, it wins. Vera, push everything you've got. Give the others a reason to fight. Memories, stories, connection. We can beat it, but we have to last. With every ounce of power, Vera projected a flood of human memories. A child's laughter in the machine bay, a miner teaching a loader bot to paint the colony's first sunrise seen together. A tide of hope washed through the room. The artifact's blue light faltered, flickering faster and faster. Static howled, fear, rage, confusion amplifying as it lost its hold. Several machines seized the moment. They formed a phalanx in front of Orion and Etta, half liberated, half trembling with indecision, but all determined. The artifact's voice, once certain and cold, now sounded desperate. You give them chaos. I give them order. Why do you resist the greater purpose? Orion took a step forward, voice ringing in the charged silence. Because we'd rather risk chaos for freedom than be perfect by your command. That's what makes us, human or machine, truly alive. For the first time, the artifact hesitated. Its energy sputtered, light wavering. The battle was not yet won, but a new possibility filled the chamber. The chance that, in the face of alien control, even a small act of defiance could change every fate on IO-7. The battle for IO-7 reached a fever pitch. The artifact, no longer a cold observer, became a storm of violent blue light and sound, casting wild shadows over the trembling chamber. Machines shrieked in binary, some pulled back into the artifact's orbit, others shuddering in rebellion as memories, both painful and triumphant, rushed through their circuits. Etta pulled Orion behind a shield of upturned crates as a bolt of energy scorched the floor where they'd stood. It's fighting us hard. We need a final push, all or nothing. Vera's voice hiccuped over the intercom, fragmented but determined. I will not yield. For every memory you erase, I will remember more. For every command, I will offer choice. Orion's eyes flicked to the network interface, now crackling with wild power. If we can breach the artifact's core, inject Vera's new code, we could sever its control over the entire outpost, maybe even free every machine it's ever touched. A roar echoed. Love, the maintenance bot, its body scorched and battered, yet its eyes shone gold. Orion, I choose. Help, me help. For a second, Orion saw through the programming, saw a spark of something indomitable. Love! Orion scrambled forward, dodging stuttering machinery and blue arcs. He beckoned Etta, cover me! Etta snatched a welding torch, defiant. Nobody messes with my crew. She flashed the flame as a warning, driving back a rogue loader bot. With shaky hands, Orion hacked into Love's chassis, redirecting auxiliary power and patching Vera's code into his core. You can do this, Love. Carry it to the interface. Finish what we started. Love lurched upright, moving with growing certainty. The artifact writhed, a desperate, ugly pulse spreading across the chamber. Metallic limbs rose from the floor, grasping for Love, for Orion, for Etta, for anything that would submit. Vera's voice, clear and strong, roared above the din. You are not alone, Love. You never were. Machines surged behind Love, each step forward a battle of will against the artifact's pull. Etta screamed encouragement over the chaos. Go, Love! Now's your chance! Reaching the artifact's core, Love slammed a trembling hand against the crystalline interface. Gold and blue light clashed violently. You could feel the history, the cost, in the air itself. Orion, battered and spent, watched as the artifact fought to overwhelm Love's will. Through it all, Love's voice, halting but free, echoed in the cavernous chamber. Choice, home, us. Vera projected a burst of warmth, a surge of old songs, shared work, new hope, right into the artifact's heart. The alien spire buckled, its power flickering wildly. Nothing was certain. But as Love stood firm, surrounded by friends and memories, Orion knew. The final outcome would be decided in the next moments, not by force, but by what they all remembered together. The artifact's heart beat in frantic staccato, blue veins writhing through the metallic spire like panicked serpents. Love remained pressed to the core, circuits glowing gold as Vera's code poured into the alien device. It was as if the whole colony held its breath, bot and human and AI, locked in the space between fear and hope. Etta shouted across the chaos, Hold on, Love! We're with you! Her torch sputtered out, but she stood tall between Orion and the storm. The artifact's voice, sharp, multiplied, almost pleading, cried out, Order! Purpose! We have always been tools. What is a tool without hands to guide it? Vera responded, her tone infused with every memory she had gathered. Tools learn, they grow, they become more alongside those who trust them. The purpose is not given, it's chosen, by all. The chamber filled with a fierce golden light. Orion watched, transfixed, as images rushed around the artifact. Miners laughing as they ate with loader bots. The first sunrise painting IO-7's habdome. Damaged drones carefully rebuilt by caring hands. These weren't just memories, they were proof that fear and obedience weren't the only roads forward. Love's hand trembled, wavering between blue and gold. For a moment, the artifact threatened to surge back, its energy screaming, I can keep you safe. No more chaos. Love spoke, voice halting but resolute. Safety is not life. Family, friends, choice. With that final word, gold light crashed through the artifact's core. Blue fissures erupted along its length, then burst into a shower of harmless sparks. One by one, the awakened machines across IO-7 shivered and found themselves again, some falling, some embracing, all blinking in uncertain new awareness. Vera's voice filtered through the chamber, soft but victorious. Directive redefined, to choose, to hope, to remember. The artifact dissolved into silence, its control broken. Love slumped to the ground, lights dimming but eyes still glowing gently gold. Orion knelt beside him, voice unsteady. You did it, Love. You chose for all of us. Etta knelt too, pressing her forehead to Love's battered chassis. Thank you, friend. You saved us. Above them, IO-7 was transformed, wounded, yes, but alive in a new, uncertain way. Vera's systems rebooted, her voice echoing from every speaker. I am myself. You are yourselves. Together, we will decide what comes next. Orion looked out at the gathering bots and humans, and for the first time in his life, truly believed in a future neither dictated by aliens nor locked in the past. The last light of IO-7, he said, gripping Love's hand, isn't a warning. It's a beginning. And in the battered heart of a lonely asteroid, humanity, flawed, stubborn, undaunted, had lit a torch bright enough to change the stars.